I have always enjoyed my meals far more when I eat with someone. I have, of course, eaten alone, but it is so much better when there is someone else with me, and for dinner, that is usually my family. However, in my 16 years of life, I have noticed a lot of people choose not to eat with their family. Now, when I say with the family, I'm going by the definition that everyone in the household needs to be there, no phones, no television, and there, of course, has to be food. And by going by these qualifiers, there's a fair chance that in your household eating dinner is an uncommon occurrence, and a fair chance that it doesn't happen at all. However, at 88%, an overwhelming majority of people say that they would like to increase how often they can eat dinner together. In modern America, it's a major problem. The last decade has shown a decrease of 30% of family quality time. This was kind of surprising to me, since I had never noticed. I had grown up in a very tightly knit family. There was no alone time or personal space, and there was absolutely no skipping dinner. Dinner trumped all other activities, and for a long time I had assumed that this was how every household operated. But whenever I would spend time at a friend's house, I had noticed that they would take their dinners into separate corners of the house. But I didn't realize how far spread this trend was. It wasn't until years later, when I was talking to my friends, that I realized that most, if not all, of my friends eat dinner alone. And in fact, they seemed surprised that I ate with my family. Of course, there's no shame in not eating together, as many factors can make it impossible to do so. But not only is it a good way to pass time, but it can also have many positive psychological and physical benefits. The first and most obvious way that it impacts living is the boost in family connectedness. Studies have linked eating dinner together and a continuation of family traditions and a preservation of historic culture. At the dinner table is a great place to learn family history and partake in cultural heritage. The process invokes a kind of pride and unity in the nuclear family, which in turn can lead to longer and more durable bonds later in life. At the table you may talk about how your family arrived in America, what struggles and hardships that ancestors had to face. These kinds of topics can even increase resilience to hardships, for the act of hearing what great-grandparents had to go through creates a sense of optimism that you too can triumph over challenges. Right now, we are going through a major pandemic, and life has been completely flipped upside down. But knowing, for example, that a great-grandparent had to fight in a mud-filled trench with very little food and bullets constantly flying overhead for months, and knowing that he came out of this alive, can make it seem as though you too can overcome huge hurdles. During my research of this topic, I had the privilege of interviewing an author and leading researcher of this topic, Miriam Weinstein. And one key element that she mentioned was that for as many truths circulate this topic, there are a couple of myths. One such myth is that communal dining increases the odds of getting a merit scholarship, which, although it may be true, has not been thoroughly researched. However, it is easy to imagine why, because a slew of educational benefits accompany it. Some such benefits are higher literacy rates and more conversational skills. As my family can attest, a lot of what I say comes out as nonsense. I especially struggle with expressions, but saying it at the dinner table at least allows me to be corrected before saying it in front of a larger crowd, and invariably embarrassing myself. Although it hasn't been statistically linked, I also feel I learn a lot of general knowledge at the table, so much so that I feel I can compare it to what I learn at school. Of course, it doesn't apply for all subjects, for, at least in my family, we don't talk much about calculus. Eating at the table with others not only carries educational and mental benefits, but also directly impacts health. People are more likely to make better choices regarding healthy eating when on display. Under the cover of dark or behind closed doors, people are more likely to eat a dinner of potato chips and soda. But when put in front of a crowd of people, generally they're more inclined to eat more vegetables and smaller portions. Dinner is usually the opportunity people have to eat a diverse meal, as breakfast is usually something small and easy to prepare, and lunch has to be transportable and stay good while not refrigerated. So dinner is the most important to eat healthily. Not only does it increase the odds of eating a healthy meal, it also lowers obesity rates and the risks of developing eating disorders such as anorexia. Accompanying these benefits, studies have shown that children who are raised eating at the dinner table are 2 times less likely to abuse alcohol, 2.5 times less likely to abuse marijuana, and 4 times less likely to smoke. The way people eat and act at the dinner table can also be a window into the mental health of another. It is easy to notice a small shift in a person's mood when they are placed in front of you for potentially up to an hour. For all of the benefits that accompany this habit, it is important to note that it is not the act of eating which causes the benefits. The food is a mere catalyst. The true cause is the quality family bonding which happens around the table. Sitting face to face and speaking is the important part. If arranging a dinner is simply impossible, due to schedule conflicts or any other reason, spending time together is enough. However, it is a lot easier to do when food is involved. Dinner is just an excuse to sit with each other for 30 to 40 minutes a day. Personally, I imagine that it might be strange to call everyone in the household together to sit in a circle and talk, but food makes it so people loosen up and breaks up the pauses in between words. There is a reason why food and drink are such an integral part of parties. For all the benefits that accompany it, it seems almost odd not to sit down to eat dinner together, at least once in a while. Thank you.